Plymouth Reliant K and compare it to Chevy Citation. We'll pay you $50 no matter which you buy.
See Midpark, Spitzer, and Glavick Chrysler Plymouth. Catch Academic Challenge tonight on TV5.
Widnes on top 16-4 as the Chemics take the kickoff and run it back to the 35-yard line.
Ringo Starr. Easy one. Marlington? Drums. Good. Lionel Hampton. I'll take more than one answer from Lionel Hampton. No? Okay. Vibraphone, xylophone, for the most part, piano and drums. Dave Brubeck. Oh, that'd be easy. Jazz pianist. Bruce Springsteen.
Guitar.
Midpark.
Guitar.
Okay, or harmonica. And Miles Davis? No takers there? Okay, that was a trumpet, and that is the end of the round.
Students appearing on tonight's show win book prizes for their school libraries, courtesy of the Bookseller. Located at Interstate 90 and Route 57 in Elyria, the Bookseller is Ohio's largest bookstore with over 1 million volumes in stock. The top-scoring school wins the complete illustrated Shakespeare, 850 pages containing all of Shakespeare's plays and sonnets with over 800 illustrations. Second and third place schools receive Our Magnificent Earth, a Rand McNally Atlas of Earth resources containing over 200 beautifully illustrated pages. And each contestant receives a personal 1981 pocket-size appointment and date book, courtesy of the Bookseller.
Here's a minute to relax, and I would like to remind our audience that Academic Challenge, of course, is just a game of quick recall, not necessarily a true test of intelligence. And now, let's meet tonight's challengers as we check their team scores. And first of all, from Ledgemont, beginning with no points as yet, here we have
Chuck Hamill, Jr., French Club President.
Jeff Ward, Senior, National Honor Society Treasurer.
Carol Long, sophomore, member of Varsity Club.
and alternates Guntram von Kaparski and Ted Stanich, and first-year advisor and teacher of French and English, Sandra Arms. Sandra, nice to see you. Now from Marlington, here's our team with 40 points.
Tim Snyder, Senior, Student Congressional Committee.
Mark Sensmeyer, Senior, National Honor Society.
Greg Downs, Jr., Varsity Cross Country.
And alternates Stacy Holloway and Richard Oleksuk, and 60-year advisor and teacher of French and English, Linda Hempstead. Nice to see you. And finally now, from Midpark, another team with 40 points.
Dave Horton, Senior, Football Letterman.
Rick Monturo, Jr., Junior Class Executive Committee.
Paul Graycon, Senior, National Merit Finalist.
And alternate Eric Sachs, and an English teacher in her 10th year as an advisor, Vicki Balzer. Nice to see you back again. We'll be right back after a word from the Energy Makers.
We'll take the chill from winter. We'll sew your favorite jeans. We'll light your paths of glory and fill your TV screens. We'll keep your factories humming. We'll make your records spin. We're working day and night for you, and when the coffee puts, we'll start all over again. We're the energy makers, the people who make things run. Think of us as friends whose job never ends. We're the people who get things done. We're the energy makers, your neighbors and friends. We're the energy makers, our job never ends.
Okay, team members, listen closely now as Paul explains the rules for round number 2.
Teams have 75 seconds to answer 10 questions worth 10 points apiece. Answering all 10 correctly adds 50 bonus points.
And it is time to get underway. Let's go back to Mark for the first pick. Mark?
Number 3, please.
Already 3 it is going to be. And this, of course, is round number 2, just getting underway. Questions going to Ledgemont. Old Yeller and Rin Tin Tin both had boys as their masters, but what veteran of many comic strip episodes is the female owner of Sandy?
Annie.
Some people can't sleep a wink, but Rip Van Winkle slept for what long number of years?
100.
I heard 2, and I want 1 answer.
100.
Nope, 20. A little theater group would produce what Lillian Hellman play that names these little sly animals who spoil the vines in the Bible?
The Little Foxes.
Right. Now, check your monitor. What is the arithmetic mean between the two numbers you see on the monitor?
Pass.
Okay, it's an X. Though it has a very short title, what poem of Poe's includes the long word tintinnabulation?
The Bells.
That's it. The time rate of change of energy is called power, momentum, or impulse.
Impulse.
No, it's power. If a picture is worth 10,000 words, the famed Bayeux Tapestry tells volumes about what battle of 1066 in which William conquered England?
Hastings.
That's it. What is the volume of a cube whose side is 3a?
Pass.
27a to the third power. At an ecumenical meeting of literary characters, an archbishop might represent Willa Cather, but what kind of clergyman from Wakefield would represent Oliver Goldsmith according to the title?
Chaplain.
Vicar. Wordsworth described the French Revolution as blissful, but this bliss was turned into a reign of terror by... Okay, you can answer if you want to take...
Robespierre.
Robespierre is right. And there you have the points, and there we have the round. Now we come back to team number 3, and Rick to pick for Marlington.
Number 7, please.
Okay. And, of course, we're still now with round number 2. And our questions now coming back to Marlington. As Marlington, we're underway. Don't bug me might have been the remark of Little Miss Muffet when she was approached by what arachnid?
Spider.
All right. Had you been in Havana Harbor in 1911, you might have seen the salvaged hulk of what American battleship mysteriously sunk there 13 years earlier?
Maine.
That's it. If you were on the march with Walter the Penniless and Peter the Hermit, you'd have been part of what type of medieval religious expedition?
Crusade.
Okay, check your monitor and simplify completely the given expression.
10X.
10X is it. If threats could move mountains, Francis Louis XIV might have fulfilled his pledge to annex Spain by removing what mountain?
Pyrenees.
Right. Of the historical periods labeled Renaissance, Reformation, and Reconstruction, which correctly identifies the 12-year period following our Civil War?
Reconstruction.
Right. In which of the following glands do we find the Isles of Langerhans? Pancreas?
Pancreas.
Right. A man earns $2,500 a year from a $50,000 investment. What is the rate of interest?
2%.
5%. If you flew into a convention of Christophers, you might meet Christopher Fry and what A.A. Milne little boy whose name says he can fly, right? Had all his expletives been deleted, what Civil War admiral might never have shouted, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead"?
Farragut.
Farragut is it, and that is the end of the round for Marlington from Alliance. Just missed the bonus there, too. All right, let's come back now to Jeff Ward to pick for Midpark. Jeff?
6, please.
Okay. 6 it is. Over to Midpark from Middleburg Heights. Of course, we're still in round number 2. Food is often sold by the pound, but in what sport are participants categorized by the pounds that make up heavy, light, middle, or welterweights?
Boxing.
Right. Ciao, the casual Italian word for goodbye, comes from the longer word schiavo, referring to what sort of bondage whose victims included Spartacus and Dred Scott?
Slavery.
Right. A member of the Fourth Estate might give a rave review to Milton's Areopagitica because it deals with what of the basic freedoms?
Religious.
Freedom of the press. Now, check your monitor. Simplify the expression which appears on your monitor.
X squared.
That's it. If Huck Finn had lived in the country of Kipling's character Kim, he might have piloted his raft down what river which Hindus consider most holy?
Ganges.
Modern ghost hunters might be euphoric when reading the legend of Euphorion, son of the ghosts of Helen of Troy, and what Greek hero with a tricky heel?
Achilles.
Right. Compounds of active metals have very high heats of formation and are generally produced from their ores by electrolysis, flotation, or reduction.
Reduction.
Electrolysis. A square is a side of length 7 times the square root of 2. What is the area of the square?
98.
98. Richard Henry Dana lived 92 years, but from his best-known book title, we know about the 2 years he spent before what part of a ship? You can answer. You can take a guess.
Brig.
No, we were looking for the mast, 2 years before the mast. There's the end of the round now for Midpark. And we'll be back with more after a look at this from the Illuminating Company in Ohio Edison.
I enjoy working with kids in junior achievement. We teach the kids about the free enterprise of business, but they really enjoy it. They get involved.
Norm Evans spends his free time working with young people. His full-time job is supervisor of metering for the electric company.
Basically, in training new meter readers, we train them all to respect the customer's property. Most of our customers understand that we have a job to do, and they are concerned about their bills. When we explain to the customers with the environment controls and all the pollution controls, there is a cost involved. This, like I said, the company is trying to keep the rates as low as possible. I want the air to be clean for my family, and I think everybody else does. But also, on the other hand, we're trying to keep the rates as low as we can.
We're the energy makers, your neighbors and friends. We're the energy makers, our job never ends.
Before we begin round 3, our visual free-for-all, here's Paul again with the rules.
In the next 90 seconds, all 3 teams will compete simultaneously in a visual free-for-all. The first team ringing the bell when a question is asked will be recognized. The right answer gets your team 10 points, but we'll take away 10 for incorrect answers or failure to reply.
Alrighty, time to get underway. I want to remind all our contestants once again to keep their fingers on the buzzers, hold them down until I call the name of the school, and speak out with the answer. And here is the first question. Check your monitor. Well, it might look like a mouse. This is actually a pygmy version of what marsupial that plays dead when it is threatened? Marlington.
Possum.
Right. Jefferson Davis is sworn in as President of the Confederate States. This inauguration took place in what first Confederate capital city? Midpark.
Richmond.
No, Montgomery. Here you see Joseph, the biblical hero who gave it to Pharaoh straight when he predicted that Egypt would suffer famine for what number of years? Pharaoh, all right, Marlington?
7.
7. Find hidden in this phrase the name of an ocean mammal that can be trained to clap its flippers, and Midpark, seal. Seen here holding an owl, symbol of wisdom, is what classical goddess who was the patroness of wisdom? Marlington.
Athena.
Yes. The subject of this portrait by Rubens was of what great Italian family identified with Florence since the rule of Cosimo in the 15th century? Ledgemont?
Medici.
Here you see the so-called River of No Return, actually a treacherous stretch of what western river named for a fish that swims upstream to spawn? Midpark.
Salmon.
That's it. Is the compound on the monitor a ketone, an aldehyde, or an alcohol? Ledgemont.
Ketone.
That's it. This dark bluish nodule is an example of sardonyx found in what South American country whose capital is Montevideo?
Uruguay.
Right. Here are some of the ruins of ancient Carthage. The reason Carthage got ruined was that Rome finally destroyed her in what series of wars? Marlington?
Punic.
Right. Your monitor slide shows the 200-foot-high Palouse Falls, a lofty landmark in what West Coast state whose capital is Olympia? Marlington?
Washington.
Right. There's no need to adjust the color on your TV set. This is called the Pink Boy, and it was painted by what 18th... Okay, there's the buzzer, and that's the end of the round. Coming up, a look at tonight's schools right after this report from Ohio Edison and the Illuminating Company.
You're designing a heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system for a building. But it's really not for the building. It's for the people that will occupy these buildings.
Stan Leroy is an engineer who designs environmental systems for buildings. He's an expert on energy and its cost.
The majority of Americans still do not believe we have an energy crisis. I think they still have not come to grips with what it means. It gets back to the inflation. Construction costs are going to rise at somewhere maybe 15 or more % a year. That has to be related somehow in the final price. And the energy costs are rising due to circumstances that the utilities have no control over. We can solve some of these problems, and we'll be a long way toward becoming energy independent. A long way.
We're the energy makers, our job never ends.
Ledgemont High School is located in Thompson Township, eastern Geauga County. It has 300 students in grades 9 through 12. A fifth of the students attend the Ashtabula County Joint Vocational School. Ledgemont's main building was built in 1955. 3 years ago, a second building was completed. It houses library, home economics, industrial arts, science, gymnasium, and cafeteria. The school also serves the townships of Montville, Huntsburg, Chardon, and Madison. The Marlington School District covers 98 square miles of Stark County. It serves Marlboro, Lexington, and Washington townships. The four-year school with 1,100 students was built in 1961. It offers extensive training in agriculture, horticulture, and business. There's also other vocational training at a neighboring high school. The faculty number 65 and is directed by Principal Gordon Reinhardt. Midpark High School is part of the Berea City School District, which also serves Brook Park and Middleburg Heights. Midpark has 1,700 students. Now 20 years old, Midpark offers over 200 courses. Junior and senior students may also attend the Polaris Joint Vocational School. As part of a credit and escrow program, some students also elect to take courses at Baldwin Wallace College, Cleveland State University, and Cuyahoga Community College.
While we're recapping team scores on your screen, here are the rules for this individual team round. Teams now get 20 points for every correct answer, but we'll take away 20 points for incorrect answers, and past questions will lose 10 points. With 90 seconds to answer 10 questions correctly, teams have a chance to pick up 50 bonus points.
Okay, let's go back now to Mark and another pick. Mark?
Number 2, please.
Okay, 2 it will be. And our questions in this round back to Ledgemont. And here we go. When born, she was called Matawaka, and when Christianized, Rebecca. But by what name do we generally know this Indian princess of colonial times?
Pocahontas.
Right. In 1754, Ben Franklin printed a cartoon bearing the message, "Join or die," beneath the severed sections of what kind of creature representing the ununited colonies?
Snake.
Serpent.
Right. If our prairies are the same name as the vast plains of Eurasia, by what up and downish sounding name would the prairies be called?
Hill.
No, steps. Now, listen to this. Here is the hymn Firmament, composed by a Cincinnati minister, Augustus Fillmore. This type of singing without instrumental accompaniment is called a cappella, consortio, or chromatism. Right. Though his home is in Arlington, Virginia, what Confederate general went to Lexington, Virginia as a university president following his surrender at Appomattox?
Lee.
Right. Most food nutrients are absorbed into the blood from the large intestine, small intestine, or the stomach.
Small intestine.
It was a red letter day when the initial N was adopted in place of a first name by what Bolshevik leader now entombed in a Red Square mausoleum?
Stalin.
No, Lenin. How many degrees are formed by the hands of a clock at 4 o'clock?
25.
No, 120. Had Eugene O'Neill made his famous Long's Day journey into night aboard Tennessee Williams' famous transit vehicle named Desire, in what would he have traveled?
Streetcar.
That's it. Few women have been to Antarctica, but that continent does boast a merry bird land. And what other area named for a 19th century British queen?
Pass.
Okay, that is the end of the round. We have one past question.
Victoria.
Victoria is right, so you pick up the extra points. And we come back to team number 3, and Rick to pick.
Number 1.
Okay, 1 it is. Questions over to Marlington now. Frontier marshals wore tin badges, but the Old West was jolted when James Marshall found what other medal in 1848 in California?
Gold.
Right. If a bridge were built from Alaska to the Soviet Union, would it cross a straight name for
Bering.
Bering? Yes. Although Tom Sawyer is a novel, Mark Twain also compared it to what sort of religious song? The title's Julia Ward Howe's battle anthem.
Hymn.
Yes. Listen to this. Although the Plains Indians are known as buffalo hunters, this chant is for a dance honoring hunters of what smaller animal? A quick-footed logomorph that lost a fabled race to a tortoise.
Here.
Yes. Moses gave the 10 Commandments to Israel, but the law of the 12 tables prevailed in what ancient empire where Cicero practiced law?
Pass.
Okay. During Monroe's administration, 5 states were admitted to the Union, including what Midwestern state whose name is attached to a famous 1820 compromise?
Missouri.
Right. Which of the following organs removes nitrogenous wastes in the form of urea and excess water from the blood? The kidney, gallbladder, or lower intestine?
Kidneys.
Right. What number is obtained when the expression 6 times the square root of 3 is multiplied by itself?
108.
Yep. If 2 fictional characters wish to be married, they would find which of the following duly authorized to perform the ceremony? Jay Gatsby, George Babbitt, or Arthur Dimmesdale?
Arthur Dimmesdale.
Edmund Charles Edward were the first names of what controversial French diplomat, better known in early America by the title of citizen?
Genet.
That's it. And we have 1 pass. And Ledgemont?
Rome.
Rome is right, so you pick up some extra points. That's the end of the round now for Marlington. Now we come back to team number 1. And Jeff to pick for Midpark.
5, please.
Okay, Midpark, your round. Coming up. Dumbo was a flying elephant, Mary Poppins a flying governess, but what perpetually young boy led the fly in a fantasy by Sir James Barrie?
Peter Pan.
Which of the famous transportation vehicles falls into the category of a train? The Claremont, the Cannonball Express, or Old Ironside?
Cannonball Express.
Okay, presidents don't usually go from house to house, but after John Quincy Adams left the White House, he served 17 years in what house on Capitol Hill?
House of Representatives.
Okay, listen to this. course, is the Stars and Stripes Forever by John Philip Sousa, a work that includes a famous solo for what highest-pitched woodwind in the band?
Flute.
No. Oh, all right, I'll accept it. Yes, could be Piper Piccolo. To unlock a store of natural treasures from the islands south of Miami, you might use what object that describes Florida's Largo, Biscayne, and West? Right? The addition of a catalyst to chemical reactants changes the amount of heat lost by the reaction, products of the reaction, or speed of the reaction.
Speed.
Right. Most monarchs rule a single state, but the dual monarchy, created in 1867, established the empire named for what two nations ruled by the emperor? Right. What is the additive inverse of 39?
139.
What was that?
139.
No, negative 39. The longest sentence in classical literature contains 823 words, 93 commas, and 51 semicolons, and occurs in Les Miserables by what French writer?
Hugo.
Right. Though Franklin D. Roosevelt could have been called Handsome Frank, this nickname was actually applied to what 14th president named Franklin?
Pierce.
Pierce is right. Now, that's the end of the round. No past questions. 290 points now for Midpark from Middleburg Heights. Right on to the grab bag after a message from the energy makers.
I work whenever there's a storm, but you got a lot of people out here that depends on the company getting their power restored.
Johnny Wade and Stan Borsica, linemen for the electric company, are people we depend on in emergencies.
There are no mistakes in this work. You do not take any chances with that high voltage.
And then the pole conditions are not just the greatest, but hey, it's part of the job. It takes a lot of people working together, trying to get your service back in the business as quick as possible. You really got to be a team. You have to really be able to understand each other.
Well, we've got some wonderful fellas here, believe me. I can depend on them.
And we learn from these guys, like Stanley. They know. You see, that's why we listen to these old-timers.
You sure get a lot of ribbon when you're in this type of work. It's a lot of fun, you know what I mean?
We're the energy makers. Our job never ends.
This is the grab bag. For every correct answer, we will add 20 points. Miss or fail to answer, and we take away 20 points. So get those fingers on the buzzers now, and let's see who is going to be tonight's winner. Here we go now. Despite his pacifism, Henry Thoreau wrote about a battle between varieties of what insects notorious? Don't answer until I call the name. Midpark?
Ant.
Okay. Plato describes as the most perfect figure what simple geometric form defined as a plane curve everywhere equidistant from the center? Marlington.
Circle.
Yes. All living plant and animal matter contains compounds of nitrogen called which of the following? Carbohydrates, proteins, or starches?
Starches.
Ledgemont? Proteins. Describe the beauty of Helen of Troy. Marlowe wrote that she had what feature that launched 1,000 ships? Midpark?
Base.
Just before the Civil War, a slave named William Jones was freed by his master. What Union commander who became our 18th president? Midpark?
Grant.
Right. According to Shakespeare's Mark Antony, the evil that men do lives after them, but the good is oft interred with what skeletal remains? Midpark?
Bones.
Right. If 7 to the 3/4 power were written in radical form, what would be the index of the radical? Marlington.
4.
Right. The Greek letter delta shares its shape with what geometric figure that symbolizes romantic disaster? Midpark?
Triangle.
Bears sometimes hibernate in caves, but should you see the Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico, you'll be more apt to encounter what flying mammal said to... All right, Marlington?
Bat.
Right. A hurricane is one kind of storm, but what other kind of is localized in your cranium when you get a new idea? Midpark?
Brainstorm.
In a famous soliloquy, Hamlet debates taking arms against the sea of what ailments that Macbeth's witches? Midpark?
Troubles.
Right. What is the smallest positive angle in degrees whose tangent is undefined? Midpark?
90.
That's it. To settle a dispute between small and large states, the authors of the Constitution created what type of legislature having, all right, Marlington?
Senate.
No, bicameral. It seems fitting that Halloween in 1926 was the day death caught up with what magician?
Houdini.
Right. Henry VIII married 6 times, but which of his daughters, whose reign began in 1558, never married at all? Marlington.
Elizabeth.
Right. In Europe, Kino is a movie house, but in what novel by John Steinbeck is Kino a driver who tried to buy happiness with his precious gem? Marlington?
Pearl.
Even students who find math unpalatable should like number 3.1416 because it suggests Midpark?
Pi.
Yes. It's just a coincidence, but a person's identification card is often referred to by what 2 initials that spell out a Freudian? Marlington?
ID.
Yep. The well-known admonition, beware the Greeks bearing gifts, became a cliche since what ancient author wrote it in the Aeneid? No takers for Virgil. Today, boys with long locks sometimes get derisive stares, but what derisive name was given to Oliver Cromwell's followers because of his... All right, Midpark?
Roundhead.
Roundhead, yes. Sulfuric acid is a very powerful acid with the molecular formula H2SO4. What is its gram molecular weight? 49 grams, 98, or 100? Midpark?
98.
That's it. In the Appalachian mountain chains are ranges called white, green, black, and blue. Which of these colors belongs to a ridge in Virginia? Ledgemont.
Blue.
Right. If a car goes 50 miles on 3 gallons of gas, how far will it go on 15 gallons? Midpark.
250.
Right. Many men carry silver coins in their pockets, but what more lethal silver object did Eugene O'Neill's Emperor Jones carry in his pocket? Ledgemont?
Dagger.
A silver bullet. One often hears chants at a football game, but rarely what religious chant named for the Pope who reigned from 590 to 604. That's a Gregorian chant. An early work by Leo Tolstoy describes the siege of what large city and naval... All right, there we have our final buzzer. And here we have our final scores. In third place tonight is Ledgemont from Thompson. In second place, Marlington from Alliance. And tonight's winner, Midpark from Middleburg Heights. Well done. Congratulations. Good. You piled up a lot at the end. Next week's featured teams will come from Bedford High, Clear Fork Valley of Belleville, and Crestwood High of Mattaway. So plan to join us then. This is Don Webster. We'll see you next week.
Academic Challenge has been brought to you by Ohio Edison and by the Illuminating Company. Book prizes for Academic Challenge are provided by the bookseller for promotional consideration.